Upselling. For many insurance agents, the word alone can feel intimidating. We don't want our clients to think we're just trying to squeeze more money out of them. But here's the truth. Upselling is really about protecting your clients better and ensuring they have the coverage they need when it matters most. In today's episode of Beyond the Dec Page, we're diving into the art of upselling without losing the client's trust. I'll share practical tips on how to position upselling as a value-driven conversation so your clients walk away feeling empowered, not pressured. Upselling begins with understanding your client. It's not about making assumptions. It's about asking the right questions and truly listening. For example, when meeting with a client, ask open-ended questions like, "What are your biggest concerns about your current coverage?" Or, "What's most important to you when it comes to protecting your family or business?" This approach not only uncovers gaps in their coverage, but also builds trust because the focus is on their needs, not your sales goals. Once you've gathered this information, perform a quick coverage gap analysis. You can keep it simple. Use visual tools or a checklist to explain what their policy does and does not cover. For example, you might say, your current auto policy covers liability up to a specific limit, but let's consider the area you drive in and your average commute. For example, what's the most expensive car you've seen on the road recently? Maybe a Tesla Model X or a luxury SUV? If you were in an at-fault accident with a car like that, the repair or replacement costs could easily exceed your current coverage limits. It might make sense to increase your liability coverage to insert recommended limit to ensure you're fully protected. The key here is to educate, not overwhelm. Keep the language straightforward and relatable. When it comes to upselling, it's all about showing the value instead of focusing on the cost. Focus on the benefits. Here's a tip. Use real-life stories or scenarios to illustrate why additional coverage matters. For instance, you could share a story about a client who added an umbrella policy and was able to avoid financial disaster after a serious incident. Stories like this make the benefits tangible and relatable. Also, try to connect the upsell with what matters most to your clients. If they're a business owner, you might say, "This endorsement ensures your income is protected if your utility provider experiences a disruption." This approach makes the upsell feel less like a sales pitch and more like a solution tailored to their needs. Timing is everything when it comes to upselling. Introducing additional coverage during stressful moments, like during a claim, can make the client feel overwhelmed or even suspicious. Instead, look for calmer moments when they're more open to the conversation, such as during annual reviews or policy renewals. You can also incorporate upselling into regular touchpoints, like sending an email newsletter or bringing it up casually during a follow-up call. For example, "I notice your current home policy doesn't cover water backup. This is a common issue in your area, so I wanted to let you know about an option that could protect you from costly repairs." By planting the seed during routine interactions, you give clients the space to consider the upsell without feeling pressured. Transparency is critical to maintaining trust during an upsell conversation. Always explain why you're recommending additional coverage and how that benefits the client. For example, you could say, "I recommended adding this coverage because your current policy doesn't cover this specific risk. I've seen how this type of protection can make a big difference in situations like," and provide a brief example. Encourage your clients to ask questions and address their concerns openly. When they see you're focused on their well-being, they'll be more likely to trust your advice. When wrapping up an upsell conversation, always provide options and leave the final decision up to the client. You might say, "You don't have to decide right now, but I wanted to make sure you're aware of this coverage. Let me know if you'd like to explore it further." This keeps the tone collaborative, not pushy. Reassure them that your goal is to protect what matters most to them, whether they decide to move forward with the upsell or not. Remember, upselling is an opportunity to educate and empower your clients, not just sell them something extra. By focusing on understanding their needs, framing the upsell as a benefit, and building trust through transparency, You can have meaningful conversations that add real value to their lives. Now it's your turn. Take a look at your current upselling strategies and see where you can apply these tips. Thanks for watching Beyond the Dec Page, and I'll see you next time.